Police in Ohio made a traffic stop after noticing an expired tag on a vehicle in the town of Columbiana. As officers approached the vehicle, they saw a passenger in the car put a suspicious object in the back seat. According to the report, he also had a plastic bag in his lap that he tried to discreetly drop to the floor. The officers also noticed traces of marijuana on his pants. Police then patted down the female driver and she was cleared. However, the male passenger had several outstanding warrants. Officers also discovered that the object he placed in the backseat was part of a gun. Upon searching the man, they began to find other pieces of the gun. In other words, the man was trying to disassemble his gun and hide the pieces. It turns out that he was not allowed to possess a firearm due to drug charges back in 2007. In addition, police found a bullet in his lap and another piece from a gun in the passenger's door pocket. The male passenger was then arrested. But that wasn't the end of the matter. Officers noticed that he was very fidgety in the backseat of the patrol car and he kept squirming. They also said he was constantly reaching into his pants during the ride to the station. He was then booked into the county jail. But this story still doesn't end. That's because police saw a recoil spring from a gun in a trash that was located in the booking area. Video footage of the room shows the suspect digging in his pants and then disposing the spring in the trash. Police believe he kept the spring hidden in his butt before being booked at the station. He later pled guilty to a federal charge of being a felon in possession of a firearm. His bond was set at $20,000 in municipal court. He posted bond and was released on a Friday. He was due back in court on Monday, but he failed to appear. His bond then increased to $50,000 and a warrant was issued for his arrest. And to think that it all started with him riding in a car with expired tags. When couples plan their wedding day, they would like nothing more than for the event to be picture perfect. Many couples even choose to have an outdoor wedding which allows them to capture the moment with iconic photos. And for those special shots, some couples go all out. Of course, if you're having your wedding on a 7.5-acre estate with a $5.7 million mansion, you already have the perfect setting. That's how a couple in Florida felt when they were planning their special day. They sent out invitations that read as follows: "It is our honor to welcome you into our dream home and estate." It went on to detail how the couple had been reunited 30 years after meeting in high school and it was all due to divine intervention. It described the event as a wonderful evening of celebration, exquisite feast and dancing at our royal extravaganza. The wedding and reception was to take place from 3:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. That's 11 full hours. But that wasn't the end of it. Guests were then invited to return to the mansion on Sunday for an afternoon brunch. On Saturday morning, the groom and one of his friends set out to get things prepared at the mansion. Everything was going smoothly until they ran into Nathan Finkel, who called police. So who is Nathan Finkel? Well, he's the guy who actually owned the mansion. According to Mr. Finkel, the estate belonged to his late father, Abe Finkel. Abe had once operated a large number of IHOP restaurants in the Southeast. His son Nathan Fiscal was selling the mansion, but he still lived in another house on the estate. He said that the groom came to him several months ago posing as a potential buyer. A few months later, he asked Fiscal if he could use the backyard for his wedding, but was turned down. Apparently, the groom thought the entire property was vacant and he could still have the wedding without anyone finding out. Apparently, he forgot that the mansion was on an estate that was over 7 acres. That area included smaller guest houses on the property. So the groom didn't realize that Nathan Finkel was living in one of those other houses. Officers arrived and told the groom and his friend to leave the property immediately and not come back. They complied and no charges were filed. According to Broward County records, the couple did in fact have a marriage license issued. However, days later, they were still not registered as married. Perhaps they haven't found another vacant mansion yet. We'd really love to know what they told all their guests who were expecting a 2-day party. This next story takes place at the Grand Oaks Horse Ranch in Florida. It's a popular 400-acre resort and premier venue for a diverse range of equestrian competitions held throughout the year. One evening, security at the ranch noticed that several stalls were open. They then saw horses running loose on the property. As Grand Oaks staffers tried to locate and corral the horses, they saw a man trying to run away. As they chased the suspect, he hopped in a Chevy truck that apparently had the keys inside and attempted to escape. However, the workers were able to grab him and pull the man out of the truck. They then called the Lake County Sheriff's Office. The staffers kept him restrained until deputies arrived on the scene. The man was then asked the obvious question: why did he let the horses out of their stalls? Well, he said he felt that horses should be free and not locked up inside of cages. But upon further questioning, he finally admitted that he was planning to ride one of the horses off the property. However, his plan was foiled when the horse got away from him. So regardless of how he felt about horses being locked up in cages, it was clear to deputies that he was also there to steal a horse. According to the staff, each of these horses were valued between $20,000 and $80,000. So this wasn't a case of petty larceny. The 55-year-old suspect was booked for burglary, grand theft auto and grand theft. He was sent to the Lake County Detention Center on $15,000 bail. Driving an expensive car, whether you can afford it or not, tends to give others the impression that you're quite successful. Just imagine showing up at your friend's house in a brand new Porsche 911 Turbo. This car has a retail price somewhere around $200,000 to $300,000. And if you're a guy, you can only imagine all the attention you'll get from the ladies. That's probably what a man in Florida was thinking when he showed up at a car dealer to purchase a new Porsche 911 Turbo. The 42-year-old man picked out his model, handed the dealer a six-figure cashier's check and drove off in his new car. He next went to a local jewelry store to purchase 3 Rolex watches. He then wrote another check for over $60,000. But unlike the car dealer, the jeweler held onto the watches to make sure the check cleared. Well, the check bounced, so the jeweler called police. By that time, the car dealer realized that the other check was also fake and they reported the car stolen. Police later learned that the man had printed the checks on his home computer. He now faces charges of grand theft of a motor vehicle and uttering a false banknote. We're still surprised at how easily he was able to drive off in an expensive Porsche.